This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Joe, we were reflecting on Charles Ballentine and his passing yesterday, and we really appreciate you making some time for us this morning. What are your thoughts this morning?
Tomorrow's not promised, and, last time I saw him, we were, unfortunately, we were at Ricky Norton's funeral, and all we talked about, he and Darryl and I and Eugene Nash and Kerry Kelly was, we got to get together. We got to get together. We got to get together, and, we never did. And so, it's kind of sad, a lot of good memories, but, just would have liked to see him one more time.
Joe, we hear teammates talk about and use the phrase brothers for life. And we hear the phrase a lot, and sometimes it means something to us and sometimes it doesn't. But there was a bond, and it seemed like that group maintained that bond for a great number of years. And I just wondered if you would talk a little bit about that, the value of a teammate as you move through your life.
Chuck, I think, like being older and being on a few teams, I think it's the best thing about sports. It's the best. It's the thing you miss the most is the locker room, the camaraderie, the traveling together, the practicing together, to going through preseason workouts, going through the good stuff and the bad stuff, but you're doing it together. So you're all miserable together. You're all happy together. You're all getting cussed out together. You're just, you're experiencing something together, and it bonds you. And you have your own little fraternity that, a lot of people want to get into but can't. And then you get to have experiences like the North Carolina game, Houston game, just all those things that even make it, stronger and better. And, it's when you get together and you see, you may not see guys for 20 years, but when you get together, it takes about 5 minutes to get back in that mode, and you start laughing and bringing up this guy and that guy and this coach and that coach and what he did, and all these things. And a lot of it is very, very private, that is only shared, that can only be shared with your group. And it's really special.
Big Joe, what kind of teammate was Charles Ballentine?
He was, I remember the first time I saw him, and he was with Dudley Dawson, and we were in Wilson Sharp, and I looked at him and I was like, man, what a country dude this dude is. And coming from a guy from the big city of Slater, Missouri, the cultured person that I was, but I just remember how nice he was, and he was. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I remember when we started playing, he was skinny and really raw, and I remember we started playing pickup games, and he would get destroyed. And we were all, we liked him, but we were in the back of our mind, you're like, don't know if this cat's going to make it. Don't know if he's going to be able to play. And to his credit, the next year he was a starter on a really top 5 basketball team. And so, his work ethic, his humility, was just he was raised really good. You could tell that. And just, but he worked, and nice as person you'd ever see, but he'd rip your heart out on the floor if he had to.
Joe Kleine with us here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. And, Joe, you mentioned kind of where he was from. He's in Arkansas, and I always find it curious when you have a young man like yourself that comes from out of state combined with a young man from in-state. What did he teach you about just kind of the Razorback lore, and what did you learn from him about just what it means to be a Razorback?
Well, I've always said this. I think it's so important. I think the more kids you have from Arkansas on any team up here, I think it helps. It helps out-of-state guys like me when you first come in. You see and realize just by being around them and being around their people and their family and stuff, what a big deal it is, and how important it is and how sacred it is to be a Razorback. And I think, that really helps guys that, have watched the Razorbacks from the outside, but just don't understand how deep it goes. And, but I think those are the greatest things that, in-state kids can bring. And, Charles certainly brought that. I mean, he was, just so happy to be a Razorback and wanted to do well. And, he put the effort because he didn't want to let his family down or let the state down. And, again, that's something that, you see that and it rubs off on you, and you become that as well.
Joe, you've done such a good job at this, and I've watched so many former players in the way they handle themselves after their careers are over, and the way they interact with fans. Charles hit a shot that brings back all sorts of memories for Razorback fans, not just the game, but who they were with, where they were. The way he carried that and the way he gave people their moment, I always marveled at that. I marvel at that with you, frankly, and Scotty and some of the others. He always seemed to be at ease in that role. It never seemed to be a burden for him. I just wondered if you'd talk a little bit about what he was like after the basketball was done.
Charles was the same. He was the same person. He was always good to everybody. He always treated everybody with respect, treated them the same. You saw that. He and I would laugh, when we would have lunch or something every now and then. We always laugh about this even to this day about the North Carolina game. Pine Bluff, what did it seat, Chuck? 7,000 people. And
Maybe.
I've met 75 that were there. and I guarantee you could probably double that with Charles, them telling him they were there for the shot. And so, I was never not with him somewhere in public and somebody not come up and talk to him about that shot. And never. I never, ever at a gas station, at a fast food place, golf course, wherever we might be, somebody came up to him and talked to him about that shot. And like he just said, he looked him in the eye and talked to him about the shot and gave them, let them talk about it, and was very appreciative. And just, again, that's a testament to him, testament to how he was raised. He valued, he valued people. He didn't dismiss people. It's just, again, it was, we can all learn stuff by watching other people. And, he certainly, by watching him, how he was so humble and appreciative of the fans of Arkansas. again, it helped guys like me that were coming from out of state, even to this day, to understand, it's a big deal to be a Razorback, and there's a certain way you need to act. There's a certain way you need to carry yourself, and this is how you do it.
Joe Kleine with us here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. All right, Charles hits the shot. The baseline jumper goes in. Timeout is called. The NBC cameras cut to near midcourt where you and Charles are embraced. You got his arm around his neck. What do you remember about that moment, and what did you whisper or maybe even yell into his ear as loud as that building was at that moment?
I think we were hugging, and then we looked up and said, "Oh crap! There's 3 seconds left." No, but I don't know. It was just that whole game. I tell people all the time. I mean, I have never been in a more intense game in my life. That game felt like the last 2 minutes for 40 minutes. I mean, we would stop them, and it would be like, we stopped them. And, it was like you stopped them with 30 seconds left in the game, and there was 18 minutes to go in the first half. So you'd score, and you'd feel good about it. And I mean, it just was such a emotional game. And I just think, he and I were hugging like, thank God this thing's almost over. But, we got to finish it. But we knew we were in a really good place. And, we were really, I mean, I think it was just mostly just a lot, just happiness. We knew we had a great shot. We just had to close it out. And, I always joked with him. I was like, Alvin should have thrown me the ball, and I could have been somebody, but he threw it to you. He always like that. He'd always give me the side eye on that one. I'd be like, I was wide open there in the middle of the lane, and Alvin threw it to you. I could have really been something if he'd have thrown me the ball.
Joe, I can't think of a better place to end it this morning. I know it's been a hard 24 hours, but we really appreciate you making some time for us this morning and sharing about Charles Ballentine passing at the age of 60 yesterday.
Well, tell the people, you love them. Call people. Tomorrow's not promised. So, good guy. Couldn't miss it. Thank y'all.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.